All right, it's time for another Nerdy Virgin podcast that I'm recording on my... Here's what I'm doing. I'm pacing around the room right now instead of recording this at my desk with the really nice, expensive microphone. I'm just talking into my phone right now because I want to pace around the room while I'm talking. I like the ability to pace around the room. It helps me think, helps me plot, helps me plan. I don't know where that came from. Feeling, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. January, 10th? That sounds right. I gotta get a smog test on my car. Why do I have to keep, every 2 years I gotta get the smog test? It's a Honda. It doesn't need a smog test. It's a Honda. All right. If I'm driving a Hummer, yeah, that should get a smog test. But can't I just send them a picture of my car to the DMV and say, do you think this is really the reason why the Earth is being destroyed? This Honda Civic? You think this is the problem? So I gotta go get a smog test. That'll be fun. A lot going on in the world. Here's a news item I want to talk about. I made a TikTok video about this. Now I'm going to talk about it in the podcast right here because I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it, and maybe you could help me. There's a woman, apparently, who was selling farts in a jar. She would fart into a jar and sell them. And she was doing quite well at it. And the demand became so great that she had to eat quantities of beans and protein shakes to keep up the supply. And apparently, she had severe health problems and was told, you need to stop doing this. Your body can't handle all the farting. This is not an episode of Family Guy, but it should be. And listen, by the way, I want to be very clear about something, just on the off chance she ever hears this. I'm not making fun of you. If anything, I'm jealous of you because I come from a family of people who suffer from irritable bowel syndrome, and if we had known that we could make money selling our farts like this, my family would be living in a giant mansion right now. We would be old money if we could have figured out a way to monetize farts. And I even wanted, I should probably reach out and just say, if you need, I guess, the equivalent of a ghost writer, which I guess would be a ghost farter, like, my family is here to help. We can bring you up to 100% production in probably under an hour. What I was thinking is I don't think that anyone I don't know if anyone would want to buy my farts. But the closest thing I could maybe try is if I worried into a jar, if I just shouted into a jar all my fears and anxieties, and then turned that into an NFT, would it become something that people would want to buy? And that's what I'm... So I actually did some digging, because I people have been, I think her new thing now is she's going to make her fart an NFT, a non-fungible token. And this is something I've been trying to understand what NFTs are. The only thing more confusing than an NFT is reading a story about how somebody made a living off of farts. Finally, something more strange than the concept of an NFT. Minor side note here: my inner ear, my left ear, closed up a little bit, and it always freaks me out because sometimes if I'm coming down with something, that's like the early symptom. And in this era of COVID, any sickness, COVID or not, means I have to isolate because nobody wants to be around anyone who's sick. So that's what I'm flipping out about right now, and I'm frantically trying to swallow just to make sure that my ear opens back up again. Fortunately, I have a bunch of rapid tests that I procured before there was a major rush. Of course, I don't know how accurate any of them are now, because they're saying that the rapid tests don't necessarily pick up Omicron until it's too late. So it's a major craziness right now. I feel like the world is utterly crazy at this moment. Fart jars aside, it's a crazy world. Oh man. But yeah, that's how, speaking of which, so we've got the fart story that's going on over there, and then there's the virus is peaking here in Los Angeles, or we hopefully peaking. We don't know. It's skyrocketing. My guess is it'll be another week or so of going up, and then it'll start to go down, and people will relax a little bit. And then I don't know what's going to happen. We've seemed to enter this confusing part of the pandemic where it's this kind of we want to keep everything open, but you should still stay in your house. I feel like that's the message they're sending, which is challenging if you're a business right now, any business, especially the hospitality business. There's kind of a mixed message. No, we're going to keep the economy open. We're not going to shut down. However, we are going to tell all 300 million of our citizens not to do anything and stay indoors. So it's a little confusing right there. Bit of a strange message. Very confusing at this point. Will it get better? Well, I read one article that made me feel a little bit better, which is that it is better this year than it was last year. I think. Maybe better is the wrong word. Maybe we need... maybe this is my problem. Better is... Maybe it's time to retire the word better. Maybe it's... Oh, my ear just cleared up. Thank God. All right. But I'm not going to say that my ear is better. I'm just going to say that it's different. Things don't get better. They just become bad in a different way. That's what I'm asking for, really. It's not so much that I want the world to get better. We know that's not going to happen. It would just be nice to be panicked about something else. Let's wrap up the panic about the pandemic, and let's panic about, I don't know, fireballs from the sky. Just something, something to change it up a little bit. That's the fatigue I'm experiencing, is I'm worrying about the same thing for too long. It's time to move on to other worries. So let me be the first to recommend a few other ones. I think the California megafire thing is a beautiful thing to worry about. Because, I'm sharing my worries to someone, and they're saying, well, what does it matter to you? You live in the middle of the city. And I'm like, yeah, but these megafires, it's entirely possible that if they builds enough steam, the fire could leap from the forest into the cities. Which would be catastrophic. But the good news is it would wipe out COVID. Because there'd be nothing else. That's would be one way to get rid of COVID. Just burn the earth. Entire possibility. Something to think about, isn't it? I'm trying this new bit on stage where I'm talking about the National Institute of Occupational Safety, NIOSH. And I'm saying that the acronym NIOSH sounds like a Russian version of Neo from The Matrix, and then I just do Neo in a Russian accent, and people have been giggling at that. And it's not the greatest joke in the world. I think they're giggling more at there's something about the Russian accent that I don't know what it is. It's an accent that just, maybe, it reminds me of my older relatives, my great-great-grandmother, because they all came from, they came from Russia and Latvia. So there's something ancestral about it, I think. But I love the accent because whenever I hear the accent, I feel like the accent conveys, no matter what the person is talking about, the accent conveys that we live in a hostile and a different universe, and the word better should be retired from our vocabulary. The accent does it. You could be talking about anything with a Russian accent, and that's the subtext. It is a beautiful day today. It's a gorgeous day today. But what the accent is really saying is, you're all going to die. Slowly, painfully. Yes, it is beautiful day, but you can't appreciate beautiful day. You're too busy worrying about inner ear. And you're right now in 1 a.m. and you're cooking a chicken. Perhaps you have a sugar imbalance. And perhaps if you spend all night eating caramel corn, you will have insomnia. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I've been saying I suffer from insomnia. I've been saying I suffer from irritable bowel syndrome. But on the other hand, I have a terrible diet that's filled with way too much sugar, which affects me being able to fall asleep and certainly affects my bowel movements. So maybe instead of saying I have insomnia and irritable bowel syndrome, what I should be saying is I'm a moron. That might be a more accurate diagnosis. By the way, the ear is closed up again. So it's opening and closing. It's like that scene in Star Trek, the motion picture, when they're inside of V'ger and that iris thing keeps opening and closing. And Spock has to kind of time exactly when he can fire the jetpack through the iris so he can go deeper into V'ger and figure out what V'ger is. I'm sure you can relate to that metaphor. I'm sure that's the first metaphor that came to your mind as I said it. Yeah, pacing helps me when I'm doing the podcast. I think it's because I've come to the realization that I can't stand podcasts, doing them. Not so much doing them. I can't stand trying to do a podcast with somebody else. The problem is, I don't know if me just rambling is enough of a podcast for people to tune into. I'm not really... Oh, my ears opened up again, by the way. It keeps opening and closing. It's very strange. My ear is fighting. The ear, whether it is open or whether it is closed, it is of no concern. Soon we will all be ash and dust as the mega fire consumes us all. I think that accent went off the rails there, didn't it? What else is going on? Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was X-Men Dark Phoenix. I finally saw it. It's on Disney Plus now. All the X-Men, all the Sony Marvel movies are now on Disney Plus. And I feel like Disney Plus is saying, here you go, don't worry, we'll fix it. They're in the Marvel universe now. They'll be in the MCU. It'll be fine. Take a breath. It'll be fine. I think that X-Men Dark Phoenix is not the right title for the movie. It should be called X-Men, the one without Wolverine. That's what I think of when I watched it. I was just waiting for, it's hard for me to get into an X-Men movie when there's no Wolverine. I think the X-Men needs that one guy who's angry, who's walking around going, I think you're all idiots. And when he's not there, things go off the rails. But it was a strange. It's very strange because it came out in 2019. So if you haven't watched it yet, prepare for spoilers. How do I describe the plot? Well, Jean Grey is more powerful than she realizes, and this cosmic radiation gets into her body, making her even more powerful than she realizes. And she spends the entire movie walking around going, I don't know, but I can't control it. And Professor X is saying, yes, you can control it. She's saying, no, I can't control it. Look, I killed off this major character because she didn't want to commit to another 3-picture deal. And he says, no, you can control it. You can control it. No, I can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't. It's pretty much Annie Get Your Gun, a version of that. Anything you can control, I control better. I can control anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. It takes place in the 90s. It takes place in the 90s, but they don't reference. There are no 90s references. There's no 90s, like in X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past. They took place in specific decades, and there was, usually the most telling part was whenever they had the Quicksilver running around doing his speed walking thing. They would play the appropriate kind of music underneath it. This took place in the 90s. Actually, there might have been one scene where they were playing a 90s song, but the problem with 90s music is that it kind of blends with the music from the early 2000s a little bit. The pop music does. So it's, well, maybe maybe I need to walk that back, because I have no idea. I have no idea about music. No idea about music whatsoever. I might be talking out of turn here. I don't want to insult anyone when I say that when I dismiss all of 90s music like that. I felt a million voices crying out, saying, you don't know what you're talking about. Sit down. The 90s music is... there was a strong beat, very computer. There's a lot they use synthesizers in the 90s music. I don't. Voice modulation, like... not like in the old country. You had to build an instrument out of the mangled sinews of a Siberian tiger. At any rate, it takes place in the 90s. There's really... at one point there's a space shuttle, so I guess that lets you know that it's the 90s, even though the space shuttle was also in the 80s and the 2000s. Yeah, there's nothing in it that would tell you that it takes place in the 90s. So, they have to fly out into space because something happened to the space shuttle. This cosmic rays are hitting the space shuttle, so they fly out with the X-Jet. Flies out. They save the people on the space shuttle, but that's where the cosmic rays hit Jean Grey. And at first, everything seems fine when they take her back. And she, of course, is in love with Cyclops, and Cyclops is in love with her. And he's always wearing the Cyclops glasses. Cyclops, the ability to shoot lasers out of his eyes. Which seems to be more than a leap in human evolution when they talk about mutants. This is beyond a mutation. This is, I don't know, his mother was human, but his father was a laser pointer, and all heck breaks loose. And this is the point where everyone's like, Gene, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay, Gene? Gene, are you sure you're okay? I'm fine. I'm fine. I feel fine. I'm fine. Guys, I'm fine. Guys, I'm fine. Guys, I just set everyone on fire. I'm not fine. I am not fine. Something is wrong. And we discover that when Jean Grey was younger, she inadvertently caused the car with her parents to crash, killing her mother in the process. And Professor X, in an attempt to shield her from the pain, repressed that memory. And maybe this is where the movie... This is where I struggle with the movie a little bit, because it seems like he would be smarter than that. He would be smart enough to know that you got to tell people the truth. And also, his whole sales pitch to her is that, if you come with me, I'll teach you how to control your powers. If he had been honest with her and said, listen, I know you didn't mean to, but you kind of killed your mom. But come with me, I'll help you not do that again. That might have helped him sell her on coming with him a little bit more, you'd think. But then again, what do I know about raising mutants? Nothing. I can barely raise myself. I'm walking alone in a room at 1 a.m, podcasting about a movie that came out in 2019, so that maybe 5 people will listen to this. Clearly, I'm not the expert. So she flips out, realizes that her father is still alive, goes to see the father. All the X-Men go to try to get her to come back. She gets really angry, and she ends up killing Mystique. She kills Jennifer Lawrence. She takes Jennifer Lawrence and releases Jennifer Lawrence from ever having to be in another X-Men movie. That's what happened there. I mean, I think the true power is the contract. Whoever wrote the contract, that is the real mutant here. And everyone is in grief over the loss of Mystique. Everyone is in grief, and Jean Grey freaks out, and she flies over to Magneto's island and says, how do you stop killing people? And Magneto said, whoever said I was going to stop killing people? And did you kill someone? Did you kill potentially the person I was in love with that in an alternate universe was my girlfriend? Was that the person you happened to kill? And before they can get to that point, the military arrives at the island. They try to arrest Jean Grey, and Jean Grey blows up a helicopter, and Magneto gets everyone, all the soldiers who followed Jean Grey, into another helicopter and says, you need to go. And then he says, Jean Grey, you got to go. And so she leaves. But then Beast comes to the island and tells Magneto, I need you to help me find Jean Grey. She killed she killed Mystique. And Magneto goes, well, I'm going to kill Jean Grey. And Beast goes, I'm going to kill Jean Grey too, even though we both kind of know that we probably shouldn't be killing Jean Grey, but we're angry and we're upset because we were in love with Mystique. So we're gonna go kill her. And so I totally forgot. But then again, so did the movie, that there are these aliens. This is an alien invasion movie where the aliens are... It's so... it's almost like an E storyline. Oh, by the way, there's aliens. There's one scene where they land and they take over people. They take over the bodies of people. They morph into the people, and they're like, "Yeah, we need this. We need to find this power." I just took a break there and had a couple of pieces of chicken, and I doused it with some teriyaki sauce, aka teriyaki chicken, at 1 a.m. But to lend some context, I slept in until 2 p.m. today, so my body clock is 100% off. And probably slated to go to bed late, get up early, and begin this terrible cycle all over again in the AM. Where was I with the story of X-Men Dark Phoenix? Oh, right. So they're aliens. That could be an alternate title of the movie. X-Men. Oh, right, there's aliens this time. Because they don't even find out about the aliens until 2/3 of the way in the movie. And it's, oh, there's aliens? Oh, they want to kill us? We have to stop them. And that's it. Nothing about, oh my God, there's aliens. It was almost like they were embarrassed to even be going there with aliens. We don't want to emphasize the aliens. You know, this thing that totally redefines what it means to live in this universe where we thought we were alone, but we were not alone. We're just going to gloss over that in 2 seconds. So anyway, now you got Magneto and Beast want to kill Jean. Professor X and Cyclops and Storm want to save Jean. Oh, and there's also Nightcrawler. He's there. He's got a couple of lines and zero character development. That's fun, but he can teleport. And they all meet Jean and this alien in a New York penthouse. And there's a big fight scene outside, and then a moment in the penthouse where Magneto tries to kill her but fails because she has the power. And then Professor X says, "You don't have to do this. You have the power." And she says, "I don't have the power." And he says, "Yes, look into my mind, see what I see." And she sees the first 5 minutes of the movie where we saw him be kind to her, and she went, "Oh right, he was kind to me." And I think I already knew that. And then she tells the alien, "Here, why don't you take this power from me?" And the alien says, "I will take it and kill everyone." And then the other alien said, "If you just should have not said anything, if you just would have said, 'Yeah, I'll take the power,' without then saying out loud, 'I will kill everyone,' then that would have probably prevented Professor X from saying." And she didn't even think it. She said it. He was like, "I don't even have to read your mind. You're just saying right in front of my face, you're going to kill all humans." Hey, keep the cards a bit closer to the chest there, maybe. And Cyclops runs in, shoots the alien with the laser blast. But then the military comes in and subdues them all and puts them on a train. Because if it's one thing you want to do with Magneto, it's put him in a metal containment. Put him in a giant piece of metal that is mobile, a giant mobile piece of metal. And the aliens jump on the train. The military realizes too late that they can't stop the aliens. Except the one military guy at the end realizes, maybe we do need the X-Men, and he releases all the X-Men, and then the X-Men fight the aliens, and then they manage to get to Jean Grey and wake her up, and she fights the aliens. She vaporizes the aliens. The big lead alien, which had absorbed some of her energy, they get absorbed in energy, and she realizes that if she destroys the alien on Earth, she'll kill all the other X-Men, which are her family. That's what she realized. They're my family. They're my true family. And we were like, yeah, we know. We've known that for We've known that for 5 movies. Yes, they're your family. We know. So she takes the alien up into orbit and vaporizes the alien and turns into a giant energy phoenix thing. Looks like a giant energy bird and flies off. And in the postscript, they renamed the school the Jean Grey School for the Gifted. And Beast is now the headmaster, and Professor X has left. and he's somewhere in France. He retires in France, and Magneto meets him in a cafe and says, "Well, let's play a game of chess." And Professor X is very depressed, but eventually, begrudgingly, they play a game of chess. And I don't know really what will happen next. Well, and then we know what happens next. The X-Men becomes the part of the Marvel Universe, and Marvel comes in and goes, we'll take it from here. Thanks. We got it. We'll take it from here. Don't worry, Wolverine's coming back. Well, we got it. We know. Of course, with this whole multiverse thing, now all these universes can exist. Because this X-Men is an alternate reality from the first 3 X-Men movies. Because they went back and they changed, they created a new reality. This is the second time they tried adapting the Dark Phoenix saga into a movie. The first time they kind of did it with X-Men The Last Stand. And it seems to be universally agreed that neither interpretation feels right. The best version of it that I've seen was the 90s X-Men cartoon. Taking a pregnant pause here. A lot of X-Men things going on. Yeah, overall, it was just it was a very depressing movie. Everyone, Professor X basically failed and quit his job at the end. Jean died. What's her name? The Mystique died. It just seemed just a big downer across the board. And I was reading that there was going to be a second part. Like this was supposed to be just the part 1, and then part 2 would be the Dark Phoenix saga. I think this is where she comes back to Earth and she's the villain. That was going to be the second part. She comes back to Earth and she's the villain now, or something. And so they were going to even go more depressing. And then the next one after that, the Dark Phoenix. Everyone's dead except Jubilee, and the franchise. Don't worry, this isn't going to happen. Although, if the multiverse really exists, then there's another universe where the X-Men didn't revert to the MCU, and they keep making the movies as they were making them. So if you want to see what might have been, you have to figure out a way. You have to go find a guy named Kang and jump into that multiverse. I'm exhausted. Explaining the plot of X-Men Dark Phoenix has exhausted me. It's not just that it's 1 a.m. That's not the issue. The issue is trying to explain the plot of this movie. Because it's a situation where people are changing their mind. I've never seen so many characters change their mind. Magneto goes, I'm going to kill her. And then 2 scenes later, I had a change of heart. I'm not going to kill her. When I feel like all of them have been to the point where they would not have, none of them would want to kill her. Very strange. It was just shifting allegiances, shifting thoughts. And I miss seeing Patrick Stewart as Professor X. No offense against what's his name? I totally forgot the name of the guy who's Professor X now. He's fine. There's nothing against it. It's just, the Patrick Stewart Professor X just, he seemed to be a little bit more self-assured. I think the other issue is that they've centered the movie around Professor X, especially these, the First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, etc., etc. Professor X is kind of seems to be the core, which is difficult because the climax always has to be him giving an impassioned speech, whereas the first three X-Men movies seem to be more centered around Wolverine. So in the end, which is a little bit, Wolverine just seemed to be the overall protagonist. And I think that of the two, by making, the nice thing about making Professor as the protagonist, where it works well, is in Days of Future Past, where in the climax, he does give an impassioned speech that saves the day, and the climax is actually, though it's, it is action-packed, but it's poignant and it's simple. But I feel like you can only do that so many times. But then again, why am I even complaining about that? It was a change of pace from, the Wolverine-centric X-Men movies, where the climax is Wolverine stabs something with claws. That is inevitably how Wolverine has to save the day. Captain America has to hit someone with a shield. Wolverine has to stab you with claws. You would not want to go see a Wolverine movie where at the climax Wolverine, pushes somebody over. And he goes up to the other X-Men and he goes, "Oh, don't worry, I've saved the day." And the other X-Men say, "But you didn't use your claws." That's the whole reason why you're here. The claws are the thing. That's what makes you you. Well, I didn't need to. I pushed him over. It seemed to be enough to just push him over. In fact, I don't know why you guys suffered so much he didn't seem to be that tough to me. I just pushed him over. Well, can you go just scratch him even though he's dead? Can you just scratch him so that people think you used the claws? That's why people like watching you. They like the claws. Just put claw marks on it. I'm not going to desecrate a dead body for appearances. I'm not going to do that. Listen, maybe you need to have another protagonist in these movies if you want me to desecrate a body with the claws. Goodness sakes. I think this is the end of the podcast. 38 minutes. It's a good number, 38 minutes. We're working our way back up to doing a podcast that is a full hour of simple ranting and raving. But 38 minutes is good. It's a good start.